Well, hello, everyone. Not only do we have Piper in here, but we have Lily. And I'm going to turn just a little bit here so you can see both of them. This is our Lily sitting up on the chair, and then this is our Piper down in the doggy bed. And I'm Diana Rankin, so welcome. Oh, Sheila says, hello, Diana. So good to see you already. We've got people coming on live. This is exciting. Well, today, usually I answer the questions that you propose, and I do ask you to let those questions, excuse my squeaky chair. It's just an old chair and it's comfortable, and the squeakiness, if I move, it's there sometimes. So I apologize for that. Um, but what I want to say is put your questions in the comments below, and then I will see them. Hello, Mike. Critters in attendance. Yes, both of my critters are here today. We have one more critter, Andy. He lives outside. His house is actually on the front porch. And Sheila says, what a lovely cat and dog. Thank you. Thank you. Lily is well into her 20s. I've had her about 24 years, and she's a rescue, so she was already an adult. And then Piper is 9, and she's been living with us now for a few months, and we're very happy to have both of them. So anyway, if you have questions, just post them below. And one of the things that I'm going to talk about today is a question, because one came up that I didn't want to answer. And so I asked myself why, and then I went to Phillip and said, why? And I want to explain that in a moment, but I want to first of all say we are going to get a message from one of my books. It's The Master's Book of Answers by Phillip. You can also, we just had lunch, and Piper always gets a treat after lunch, and you can hear her chewing on it's a non-rawhide little sticky thing. And you can hear her chewing on it. I apologize. Anyway, our book here is just, it's a book of wisdom. So you just open to any page and we'll get our message from Phillip for the week for that. Julie says, oh, Piper. Yeah. Her treats are very important to her. And Piper, Piper. It's Irish. Piper. Sheila got it. You got it. So good to see you and Mike on live here. And I know some others. I always just talk a little bit up front to give you a chance to come on live. It's always nice. And here we have our greetings, Diana and Phillip. Happy Friday and weekend from our Anikala world. And she gives us flowers and hugs and beautiful symbols there. So thank you. If you have private questions, please just give me a call. My number's on the website, and the link to that is below. It's just my name, www.dianarankin.com. But if you have questions of universal appeal, esoteric questions or whatever, just put them in the comments below or send them to me via email. Again, my email is, all that information is just right below us here. But the question was asked about a crime. And I went and I looked up the crime, and I did know something about it. I didn't think at first I did. And it's a horrible murder of 2 little girls that happened a few years ago. And you can hear my emotion coming up. I did not want to look at that psychically. I didn't want to go into that deeper energy and I kept asking myself, why not? Why have I never done any work around crimes? You know, I look at my clients, and I have clients that I absolutely love. And every once in a while, I get a client that I think we're not clicking. It's not working between us. Some clients I see every week, some clients or talk to every week, others monthly, others sporadically. But all my clients have one that I love, have one thing in common. They're wanting to heal their lives to not only make their own lives better, but wanting to make the world better. And I thought, you know, excuse me, that's what my teaching is all about. That's who I am. And so I thought about the crime, and I thought, it's not the energy I can go into comfortably at all. It's not, and if I'm not comfortable, I'm not going to be able to be helpful. So I looked at that and I thought about that and I thought, okay. And I want to also say, please ask any question you want. Feel free to ask the question, but just if I don't answer it, understand why. And this is the first time, other than occasionally I get very personal questions, but this is kind of the first time that I really said, no, I don't want to go there. I don't want to answer that. And so when I asked Phillip, these are my questions today, I really understood better why I didn't want to go there. And I think this information will be very helpful for our viewers. So here we go. The questions I ask is, how does someone know when a psychic reading would be beneficial? And how do you know what psychic to go to? Because I thought that right there will be more universal than just, why didn't I want to ask this? And I will tell you, I have friends who are also readers, and we trade readings all the time. Well, not all the time, but at least once a year, because it is helpful. So here we go. This is what Phillip told me to my questions. How does someone know when a psychic reading would be beneficial? And how do you know what psychic to go to? And this really did answer my question as to why did I not want to look at that crime? Yeah, it's going to be easier with my glasses off. So here we go. There are those in your world in the third dimension who are able to receive information not known to everyone. You call these people intuitives or psychics. Some you call mediums because they are able to communicate with those in the spirit world. These are usually those with more highly developed abilities. So would be most likely those with intuitive abilities who have expanded into the psychic. And then mediumship abilities. Most, but certainly not all, psychics are spiritual. Those who are often become mystics. All who study the spirit become intuitive. As the spiritual studies deepen, so does the intuition. And boy, I do see this in my clients. It's beautiful to be a part of that. It really is. And I know many of you out there have noticed, as your spiritual studies increase and that deepens for you, so does the psychic abilities. Okay. This may or may not develop into psychic abilities depending upon the individual's soul path. Now, by that, what I think Phillip is saying here is, as we study our spirituality, our intuition deepens, and that may or may not develop then into psychic abilities depending on our soul path. And I just to give you a real quick, oh, there goes Lily. Okay. She doesn't always want to be in here with us, does she? She has better things to look at, like the squirrels outside the window. Anyway, just a real quick on my path. When I was very young, I saw dead people, or people we call dead. And I commented one time, I was talking to my grandfather and we were at his funeral. And I learned very quickly from my mother and my grandmother, we do not do that. That is of the devil. So I hid it. I stopped. I kept it to myself. I wrote about it in my journals, but I kept my mouth shut till I was much older. And it was actually probably, I didn't start reading for others till about 25 years ago in my 50s or late 40s. So maybe 30 years ago, mid to late 40s. And that was after much soul searching and recognizing this is your soul's path. This is how you serve. This is what you're supposed to do. But it took me a long time to get there. So let's go on to hear what Phillip has to say. Not everyone who has the ability will choose to share it with others. Those who do will then need to decide what areas of study they wish to pursue. It is these areas of study they will then share. And that was the answer to my question right there. Why do I not want to look at a crime? And you hear the emotion in my voice, because I can't. I can't go there. A long time ago, there was a kidnapping, and I looked at that, and I called the police with some information that I got. And it was devastating for me. It was very, very difficult because the children had been killed, which we didn't know at the time. I knew. but they hadn't found the bodies. I just found out I couldn't go there. And when I teach the workshop on how to develop your intuitive abilities, when I teach that, how to develop your intuition, I always say, you've got to be able to shut it off. You've got to be able to walk away from it when you're working in the human world because you're too sensitive. With COVID, I've spent more time alone probably than I ever have in my life. And I isolate quite a bit, which is okay with me. But I have found my spiritual development is increasing. My master's degree, my thesis that I wrote many, many years ago is let's see if I can remember it, is what is the sacred? It's about the sacred across cultures and throughout history. What are the sacred expressions of life? So my area has always been in that area. And that's what I've learned about myself these last few days. So I am really grateful for the question because it forced me to dig a little bit deeper in myself. I want to go on to read from what Phillip says. As in all areas of human life, paths are chosen before birth. Then the physical being is created to help each individual live their goal. For example, the brain of an artist is wired differently than the brain of an engineer. If the soul wishes to incarnate with an illness or what is referred to as a disability, this must be present in the brain before birth. Updates in the brain are then made throughout life as the person becomes ready. So in addition to study and practice, intent and desire, the psychic's brain is rewired to allow more intake from the psychic world. I can tell you exactly different times my brain has been rewired. And for me, for some people, it feels chaotic. For me, it's always given me this deep, deep sense of peace. And I remember, this goes back several years before I did readings, but I remember Phillip telling me that the brain was being rewired and they apologized for any inconvenience it caused. And I thought, oh gosh, do it more, do it more, because it gave me such peace. Anyway, Phillip says, as we have often said, all is energy. This is what the psychic is reading. They are reading from their interests and capabilities. They draw to them the needed guides and information needed to aid those to whom they speak. To draw in other entities from whom they normally work is normally don't work is certainly possible, but should be done with awareness by simply asking if this is an area they wish to pursue. Will this pursuit take them away from or add to their development? Just checking for a minute on Piper there. She's okay. The wise always look at their purpose. Will it serve their life and others? Is it for the highest purpose of all? Will it help them grow, or is it merely a diversion? How does one know when it would be helpful to have a reading with an intuitive, psychic, medium, or animal communicator? And many, like myself, are all of those. So check first. This depends on each person and each person's ability for insight. It is difficult to get out of one's way to see truth. The reader can help. Often we need confirmation. The reader can help. We need hope. The reader can help. So what Phillip is telling us there is that there are different reasons for getting a reading, and they can be helpful. As I mentioned earlier, friends who are readers and I trade readings quite often. And I said quite often twice, interesting, because it's not quite often, but probably more than I realize. So maybe it is. When an individual need the answers they seek or seek assurance of that, when an individual needs the answers they seek or seek assurance of that which cannot be found, it is best to then reach to a reader. Philip's syntax is different from mine, and as you can tell, there are plenty of times I stumble over that syntax. To find the right reader requires you to listen to yourself and also the reader's energy. Do you need someone with mediumship skills to reach your loved ones in spirit world? Do you need someone with animal communication skills? Do you want a reader to just tell you when or if your true love is going to show up? Or do you want a teacher who will give you the skills to draw to you that which you desire? Do you want someone who is capable of compassionate listening or someone who doesn't hear you? Do you want someone to tell you what you should do or someone to guide you? Every reader is different, as is every human being. You will choose the reader of the level for which you are ready. Every reader is different. Every reader is a human being, and we choose the reader at the level for which we are ready. Well, hello. Sheila says, oh, sorry to hear that, Diana. I'm sorry, Sheila. I forget what I said that you would be sorry about, but thank you. And Sandra says, hi from Germany. I love to listen to you every week. Well, thank you. And, I love that I have international clients, and sometimes it really surprises me where they're from. And I hate to say it, but every once in a while, I have someone from a country. I have to go and look up the country because I'm not familiar with it. Shame on me, right? Robin says, good afternoon from South Carolina. I am so thrilled that I came across your channel. I look forward to watching and listening to many more of your live videos. Well, Robin, thank you. We've been doing this for a few years now. So please, and go back and listen to all those that you will find helpful to you. I keep saying that one of these days I'm going to go in and edit the dates so the information is still there. But thank you. So good to see from Germany, from South Wales, or the southern part of the hemisphere here, and from South Carolina. The Carolinas are beautiful. I haven't been there for a while, but two of my nieces have a summer home down there, and I keep threatening to go visit with them. So thank you. What we're going to do now is we're going to get our message from Phillip. And again, those of you who have questions, you can put them in the comments below or go ahead and email them to me. My email address is below. I do ask if they're personal questions that you set up a personal session. So we're looking at the more esoteric. And I hope this question, even though it was mine, was of interest to you. And I want to also say that, that thought went out of my mind. So here we go. We're not supposed to say that, are we? I know what it was, and then we'll come back to this. By the way, if you heard right, our intuition's in sync. If you heard left, that's a message you really need to listen to, because that's for you. What I wanted to say is, for any of you, if you go to a reader and you feel that reader is making the decisions for you or telling you what to do rather than guiding you, be careful with that. I don't believe we have the right to take anyone's power. And there's a fine line there between telling you what you should do or have to do and giving you, this is what will happen if you do this. This is what will happen if you do this. If it were me, perhaps sometimes I'll say that. If it were me, I'd lean this way. But don't let anybody, including a reader, take your power. You're too important. Here we go. And make sure the reader's working with you in love. I think that's very important. Okay, here's what everybody, this is our message for the week. Your problems have not been cast upon you. They have been chosen by you. Your problems have not been cast upon you. They have been chosen by you. That's page 93. If we look at our problems, they usually, when we figure them out and work to heal them, they usually take our life forward. So look at the issues in your life and how healing them or changing them will take you forward to where you want to go. Sometimes we can't step into our greatness because we don't feel we're worthy. That's a problem. Start recognizing you are worthy. Each and every one of you, you are worthy of love. You are worthy of greatness. If you heard left, here's what you need to hear. Love is accepting another as he or she is and not as you may want him or her to be. Love is accepting another as he or she is and not as you may want him or her to be. That's page 92. Oh gosh, that's so difficult in relationships. Just to accept the person for what they are. And we may have to say, that person's not right for my life, instead of just trying to change them. Well, my friends, I'm so glad to see all of you who come live from different places. I'd love to hear where you're from. And from Piper and Lily, who left us, but from all of us here. It's a little chilly and overcast today here. We're in rural Ohio. And for all of us, we love you. Thank you for the love you receive from us. Thank you. Thank you for accepting the love we're sending out to you. And thank you for the love you send to us. And if you would like a private reading, just give me a call and we'll get you scheduled. Happy New Year. Let's make 2023 the year of peace, the year of love. Thank you for all you do to add love to the world. Until next Friday. See you then, my friends. I love you. Or see you on the other videos. Bye for now.